Hi, Christine. Welcome to the Body and Mind interview show. Lovely to have you on the show. And this is our first trial in this forum, and it's going to be quite a nice, exciting adventure for us. A little bit about Body and Mind is it's an online health directory that's been going for about 16 years now. And we promote everybody in South Africa that's in the alternative and health arena. And we're absolutely passionate about what we do because we love helping people, and we love connecting with such wonderful people like yourself and other healers around South Africa. A little bit about you now, just to introduce you. Christine Hardy is a bioenergy healer and teacher. She practices life alignment, home alignment, business alignment, and teaches international certified courses. Christine, welcome to the show, and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not sure where to start, but I suppose what most people ask me when they meet me is like, how did you get into this? And that kind of is a bit of a long story on its own, but I think that I kind of traveled to this point. It was my destiny to reach this point. Because all of my life I was interested in psychology and philosophy, and I wanted to improve my own life, especially when I hit difficult and challenging times in my own marriage. And I think, for me, it was like, well, what's wrong with me? And I think a lot of people, when they are encountering difficulties in their life, especially in relationships, you tend to think it's you, something wrong with you, and you go and explore that. And that's what I did in my 30s. And then it was just a journey of progression. So from there, I went on to be a lifeline counselor. I attended workshops that sort of changed my own life and made me realize that, this is a personal growth thing for me. And at the end of the day, it went from one thing to another. And then it was a matter of understanding the sort of body-mind connection. And from the body-mind connection, I got exhausted from reading every single book that I could get my hands on. And then I got to a point with realizing, hey, this has to be experiential. It can't be something that you're reading. And the first time I experienced energy was when I actually was doing someone's hair. I was a hairdresser for 30 years before doing this, which I've been doing now for 16 years. And I could feel the energy coming from people's head when I was massaging it. And I could feel my emotions shifting and changing on the different people that I was working with. And it was like, hey, what's going on here? This is not my stuff. These are not my emotions. I've got to now try and find out what's going on for this person so I can understand what I'm feeling. So what was happening was I was developing my kinesthetic kind of abilities, and all of us have one sensory thing that is more sharp than something else, and for me it is the feeling side of things that I tune into. So I went and did a practice session with somebody, let's put it that way, because I wanted to know what this was all about. And so experiencing it for the first time changed my life, because when I walked out of there, I realized, wow, this is something I've got to learn. And I really didn't know how I was going to learn it, but I just knew inside that I had to.
That's amazing. That is awesome. Tell me now, if someone had to come to a life alignment session, what would they experience? What would they expect from it?
Traci, we are going to do a session, you and I. So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, what can they experience from a session, and what can they expect from a session is I can tell them what they may experience from a session, but everyone is totally different. What they can expect to get out of it, again, is also totally different, because everyone comes in with different needs and has had different backgrounds. And some people have worked on themselves before coming in, either with psychologists or psychiatrists, or had extensive medical treatment, but nothing is working for them, and they still feel they're stuck somehow. So a lot does depend on what work they've done on themselves before, or otherwise maybe they've even gone the alternative route with other practitioners, but there's something that's just not shifted for them and they're wanting to go further. Other people will come in just simply because they are curious, but most people will come in because they are experiencing either health issues that the doctors haven't been able to sort out, or they are coming in because they are stuck with a vicious cycle, with a pattern that they've been going through and they can't work through it, and they're needing to understand more about it so they can break through that pattern. So different people will come in for different reasons, and at the end of a session, I normally give them a modality, which is something that they can do to support the healing that I've done for them. So it's really all about personal growth, personal awareness, and that is a journey that you're on. So a lot of people will say to me, well, Christine, how many sessions will I need? And you normally say, I recommend a minimum of 3 sessions, because you can't sort out your whole life in 1 hour. So
exactly.
The first session is take about 20 minutes to explain exactly how I work, so there's no misperception about what energy healing entails. And then I take a brief medical history, and then the person will lie down on a bed, fully clothed. They don't have to remove their clothing. I don't like people to come in wearing this kind of stuff because it's very busy. So I like people to come in wearing sort of plain colored clothing, preferably natural clothing. And then what we're doing, because we're working with the body-mind connection, I will touch certain parts of their body, because the body is like a computer. So it's based on acupuncture points in the body that we touch, and then we tap the information into the body's biocomputer. And it's quite amazing. The body recognizes straight away the miscommunication that's going on between each point. And remember, those body points are actually highly charged acupuncture points. So just by touching them, we don't have to put a needle there. Just by touching them, sending a message from one part of the body to the other part of the body. So while I'm doing this, it's important the person have their hands down by their side and doesn't touch their body in any way, so that it changes the messages that I'm giving to the body. So we work on the idea that all our emotions are stored in our body at a cellular level. And it is those emotions which are the ones that are causing stress in our lives that create the blockages in the body's energy flow in the first place. So then what we're doing is accessing the memory, which could be either current or it could be from the past. We're accessing that memory to identify it. So in other words, when you go to a psychologist, it's a long-winded thing, because when you get there, they need to know your whole history, like what happened in your childhood and all of that. That alone can take several sessions before you actually start doing the work. When you come to a life alignment practitioner, the body talks to us. So the energy field is talking to us. And I don't want to get my healing modality mixed up with body talk, which is another healing modality where, we work in very similar ways, but it's not exactly the same. So we are accessing that information from the body to take us to a specific point in time. Now, the reason why we need to do that is because whatever happened in our life, that trigger is the root cause for everything else that manifests after that. So let's say, for example, something happened to you 10 years ago, and it was a really bad experience for you. Now, the way you perceive that experience is the way that shapes your belief system. So let's say, for example, we were talking about relationships earlier on. So if you're in a really challenging or an abusive relationship, you're going to think that maybe all men treat you that way or whatever. So because you've taken on that belief, because it's happened to you maybe once, twice, or 3 times in your life, and each relationship that you come into is presenting similar scenarios, it's because you've sent that message out there based on your belief system. So you attract like.
It yourself.
So what you're sending out there is what you're attracting. So that's just one portion of our life, you know. So what I do is I take a look at those belief systems and those patterns that come from that experience. And when we work with that root cause, it has a domino effect for everything else that has happened after then. So what it's doing is lessening that emotional charge and hold that it has on you. So yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what one can expect maybe from a session.
Yeah.
But on a
now tell me, you've often said before that you don't even need the person to come and see you. You can do it from a long distance. How does that work?
Yeah, that is quite amazing, isn't it? It's like, because a lot of people think, oh no, sure, I have to be there in order for this to work. And it doesn't, because, you know, there is a vibration that connects all of us. So, you know, there is no separateness with us. So it's a bit like tuning into radio frequencies. And when you tune into that frequency, you can tune into that frequency anywhere. I mean, you know, at one time I was talking to my mother the other day. It's like, oh yeah, when you were younger, you could only tune into like Radio Luxembourg or, you know, the German station. Like now we can tune in anywhere in the world. And it's a bit like that with our thoughts, really, because when you think about it, your brain is a receiver of information as well as a transmitter of information. And so how it works is based on that premise, you connect somehow to that person. And the way I connect with them is with their signature. So I ask for their signature, and then I connect to the signature by just asking and connecting with their higher self and asking, do I have permission to work with this person? And then we work with a format, which is, I'm going to duck down for a minute. You're going to miss me. So I just want to show you this. So what we do, whether the person is present or not present, I don't know if you can see this. This is a chart.
I can see it, but it's very small.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, I'm going to come back a little bit, but this actually is just a chart that it's got all the body points that we access.
Okay.
And I've got charts with 1,800 and odd emotions on there. So by using my pendulum, this is for long distance, I have to use a pendulum because I can't muscle test a person if they're not present. Otherwise, we use kinesiology and back up with the pendulum to find out.
Okay.
So
you bring in kinesiology into life alignment.
Kinesiology, yes. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
But the way we do it is really to empower the person who's coming for the first time. You know, can you see how your body is responding to something that you're in alignment with or in truth with? Because the muscle locks and it's giving you a yes response. Whereas if you ask a question to the body and it's not responding, then the muscle weakens, which would give us our no response depending on how you are asking the question. So I do the same thing at long distance. I'm asking the same questions, but instead of muscle testing the person, I'm asking and dowsing with my pendulum to get my yes and no questions that I'm asking based on the format that we follow, whether the person is present or not present.
Okay. That sounds all very interesting. Now, would you have to, you said you need the person's signature. Would it be able to just email it, or would you need the real original?
No, the email is fine. Sometimes I just find it easier to print out a signature rather than a picture or photo or something like this. So it's just easier to keep on file as well as signature. I can just, and I keep that on file and keep on record what we've worked on each session. And I send the person a report as well. So I send a report on the emotions that came up in how those emotions have impacted a certain area of their life. I also find out the time frame on what we've needed, what we worked on. So I do all the healing without them being present and not even visually being present, like you and I are talking now. And then after I've done the whole hour's healing session, I write a report on what I've balanced, and then we set up a Skype call or or a Viber or whatever, and we discuss then what came up in your session. So that is something, you know, that we could also do a run on to show people who are going to be following us, you know. I could even do something like that, and I could do a healing for you at a distance and show you how that works, and then I could interview you live and say, okay, Traci, these are the emotions that came up, this is the time frame that came up, and whatever. Does this, you know, make any sense to you? And then I can ask you deeper guiding questions to help you move through something that could be a limiting thing in your life, you know, or even a concern. Like I know you've had concerns over your daughter's health and things like this in the past. I mean, that would be a huge emotional stress for you. So that could be something we could set the intention to work on. And that's also what's amazing about this work. If you have got a problem that you're currently needing to work with, it doesn't have to be something that you're just waiting to see when it comes up. You can actually set the intention to ask, do I have permission to work with this? And the body's higher consciousness knows if you're needing to work with that now, or if there's something else that needs to be cleared before you can work with that problem.
That's amazing. It sounds absolutely awesome. Now, you also teach life alignment. How often do you do your courses, and how long is a course?
Okay, well, Traci, you know, you were asking me earlier, you know, could I teach something like this online? I just wish I could, but I, at this moment in time, I just think, you know, it is so important to be able to feel the energy. And how can you feel the energy when you're in front of a computer? You can't. So people in South Africa, these sort of healing modalities have been around for quite a while now, and there are different ones which I think confuse people. So I only have very small groups of people that I teach. My ideal group is like between 6 and 8 people. And then they pair up and they practice what I've taught them. And that's like a 3-day workshop, which is the intro workshop into life alignment. But there are 6 modules altogether. So it's an ongoing learning process if you're wanting to do it. So I've taught not just in South Africa, but Mauritius. I opened up life alignment in Mauritius, Saudi Arabia, and Australia. And in life alignment, yes, it is an international company. So we have practitioners in 22 countries around the world. So,
wow.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's grown over the 25 years or so that since Dr. Jeff Levine, who's the founder of this wonderful healing system, came into, you know, putting it out there publicly. So it is for the select few, because I think that still, in a sense, we still are in the pioneering stage of educating people to understand energy and how it works, because it really is a mystery. And for most people, like, you know, am I going to be able to get the value that I'm going to be investing into this workshop? And people most of the time they're going in because they've already had a session and they know what it's like and they've experienced it and it's worked for them, and so they want to learn it, which was the case for me.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add, like your contact details for anyone who's watching this video?
Yeah, sure. My contact details. In fact, you have created for me a lovely video which has got my contact details on there and everything. So that is a lovely little video for people to watch. Here, Traci. So how would they?
Yes, we've got several of your videos on our YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to watch Christine's videos, they're on the Body and Mind YouTube channel. Also, you've got a beautiful website, christinehardy.co.za. You can go there and read all about her courses and links to all the videos as well. And of course, you are a member of Body and Mind as well.
Yeah, and
so you're paid under the life alignment section. And you can find her on bodyandmind.co.za as well. Anything else you would like to?
Traci, I just want to say what an amazing support you have been and your team have been for me over the years. And, you know, for any practitioners out there, I know that normally advertising costs money and it's not in the affordability of a lot of people in our field because they might be doing it part-time and they might be doing it from work and that sort of thing. But I think it really is important to have the right attitude about advertising and putting yourself out there. And I just want to say that over the years, it has helped me, maybe not in the way that I've always expected, but I always encourage people to promote their services because you never know from where it's going to come from. And sometimes I've had in the past phone calls about would I like to be on radio? And wow, that was a huge thing for me because it's like, oh, on radio, oh! You know, I'm speaking. It has grown me, and if I hadn't advertised on your site, I wouldn't have had those invites. So I've been on radio numerous times. I was even filmed at one time. It was for an SEC production. I didn't get aired, but they came and they thought it was important enough to come and film me just to see would it be good enough material for them or would it work. And in the end, it couldn't because it had to be something that was seen to be more medically orientated and religious. And of course, what we do isn't affiliated to any religion or anything like that. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you for that. I've been advertising with you since the day I started, which is about 15 years now. And you've grown. You're one of my very customers. You have been a wonderful, wonderful supporter of Body and Mind over the years, and I thank you for that. Thank you. And thank you now. This is so exciting what we're doing now together, because this is a new thing that we are exploring, both of us. And I think that we're going to take this much further. Yes, definitely. Great. Thank you so much, Traci. Thank you so much, Christine, and we'll chat afterwards. Lovely. Okay. Bye. Bye.